Well, I'm back to talk about Severance season 1. I'm not associated with the show in any way. I'm not being paid for this, though I wish I was. There's going to be lots of spoilers, and I'm just going to continue on from where I left off in the last video. I think this is video number 4. First section that I wrote, another running theory: most, if not all, of the people that the main characters have or will interact with are also or have been severed. I did a count of the people listed on, and I'm not saying this is the same thing. It's just there are certain things that I'll point out later that make it seem like most, or if not the whole town, has been severed at some point. I did a count of the people listed in the sever control room wall when MDR originally went to investigate the security room after they found out they could be awakened on the outside. And though it may be an exaggeration, Alexa did say half the town worked there. The main severed characters who have interacted are under the impression that they few are the only ones, but it could be that all Lumen employees are. But that doesn't mean that they are aware when they are innies. Some could be innies for just a few minutes a day while they stare at the computers and might never know. And the thing is, there's this idea that everyone who is severed works on that basement floor. Which, if you've seen the entire show, you know that's not true. So, and it's very possible that all of the employees have been and just don't remember, and like maybe their memories got redacted and they signed a waiver or whatever. But it's very possible that everybody that works for Lumen has been severed to some degree, and a lot of them may not even remember. Excuse me. Because the whole thing is giving puppeteering in a way. So I'm not buying that they're the only employees, and I'm definitely, the more I watch it, I'm leaning more toward most people have. In the next section, there are at least 2 people in the security room. This is my assumption, and I explain it. When the OTC was used on Dylan while Milchick was with him, it's highly difficult physically to control the OTC with just one person, and in such a case, requires stretching one's body across the doorway while holding 2 levers at the same time. But only a few fingers from a single hand was shown, and in a state relaxed enough that it's clear that they are not stretching, or that the owner of said hand has an unusually wide wingspan. At the same time, Grainer was already dead, and Cobell, the only other person who we know of who could have been involved, from what Milchick says later, didn't know about the card incident, and by extension, the OTC activation. So Milchick has brown fingers, so we know it wasn't him, and he was with Dylan. Grainer was already dead. Harmony didn't even know about it. So there's at least one character who has access to the severed floor, that has some kind of authority that we've just never seen. My guess is at least 2, or maybe they're from a different office. Now, in the first season, this is not suggested in any way. All we know about is that one building. We know that one Lumen headquarters. Let's see. And I said, and speaking of fingers, Dylan's son on his right hand had 2 fingers painted blue. His index and middle, which might be important later, but doubtful. It just seemed unusual. In the security room, there were 82 names on the control room wall. Curiously, O&D is missing from the wall. And there's only one grouping with 8 people, which would have been their department count before Bert retired. I suspect that there are at least 13 other security offices, which I'll explain below, and at least one of the others has chip control over O&D. This would also explain the unknowns helping Milchick during Dylan's OTC. There is, however, a Harmony S listed, but Milchick isn't on there. Well, from what I could read, because some of the names I couldn't read very well, which probably means Harmony Selvig. Her grouping is D&R, which might mean something related to being a director. So there's 82 names. We're only introduced to about 17 characters. Grainer's not on that list. Milchick's not on there. Harmony is listed as Harmony S instead of Harmony C. And I guess it would make sense that one of those names is her married name if she was ever married. She claims that she was, is a widow, but we don't know if that's really true because Harmony lies as quickly as she breathes. There's also a Devin F listed. Devin is the name of Mark's sister, which is not a super common name. As far as I know, Mark's last name is Scout, and his sister's husband, Rickon, his last name is Hale, according to his book. But it's possible that her last name is different from both. Helly, Harmony, and Casey's names were changed, or Miss Casey's names were changed, at least somewhat, and who knows which names are their real names, because if any, because almost, if not everyone, knowingly or not, seems to be under Egan control. When Irving was awakened, he found a list his Audi had and skimmed over 4 or 5 printed pages of several employee names. And that's just a thing. Miss Casey's not listed on there as Miss Casey or Gemma. And then, what's her name? Which I find strange because Harmony is not listed in the same way as other people. Like, Harmony is management. Milchick's not on there. Grainer's not on there. So it would make sense that Harmony's not on there, but it appears that she is. Harmony's not, again, a very super common name. So why would she be on there? And, yeah. But Miss Casey was severed, but I did not see that name anywhere on the list, and I didn't see the name Gemma, and I didn't see, a G Scout anywhere in the list either, so why isn't she listed? So that was pretty interesting. Okay, so on the list that Irving had, there were about 35 per page in 35 names per page in alphabetical order. Thing is, it's obvious that half or most of the pages were missing. All he had or picked up was whole and partial pages of A through maybe H, I, or J. So I suspect that his full list has a total of at least 10 to 15 pages of just employees, like his written note said. I'm sure he compiled the list himself or maybe through a group by way of acting as a PI. Some had severance dates, some had addresses, some had ages, some had relationship status, and some had seemingly random data other than the names. Like, I think one of them, that there was a mention of their dog or something. Let's see. One, it seems, had sued the city unironically called Kier over a stop sign after getting into an accident and was severed after the fact. Half of that info is from, like, I grabbed some of that info from either a information search that Devin was doing or either Mark. One of them was on the internet, and I like paused it so I could read the article. And I go on and say he may have been somehow involved in Mark and Gemma's accident. And I was supposed to look to see if the dates matched, and I never got around to that. Irving's apartment complex is named Lenora Lake, and Mark lives in a neighborhood called Baird Creek. Lenora is the name of the 7th CEO. Baird is the name of the 4th CEO. The birthing center where Devin went to is called Demona, a name which I don't remember coming across, but in the new season, we might. The header for Irving's severed list said version 4, duplicates removed. But as mentioned above, there are only 82 names on the wall, yet in the 4 or 5 pages alone, there were at least 140. So I guesstimate that there are a total of 328 or more severed employees and 13 more severed security offices, and not necessarily in the same building. This is because the grouping where Harmony is listed on the wall, there are 13 other names. So yeah. So, and this is, and that makes sense. Like, you've got all these names, and some of them are obvious and correct or whatever, correct as we know them to be. But there's all these people listed. We only know like 17 people from the entire show. So, or 17 employees. So where'd the other 60 plus people come from? And that's all I have for this video. I will be yapping more in the next one.